experiences, the most important thing, well, the learning curve goes into that some events happened, some events, or they are happened. So once some of the events happen, what we do, this is a normal trajectory, we think about it. We think about it. So for example, you have done some of the projects, you've been a part of some of the team, and you actually has worked on to that. So after that process, you actually think about that. You had a reflection about it. You have the lessons learned. You talk about it. You actually collect back about your summary of those experiences which you have got. So there is a thinking process over there. Then once you have thought about it, then you do some sort of identification of a pattern. So you identify that in this whole process, what worked better for me, what did not work better for me. So you have some of the theories, ideas, abstract thoughts, some of the reflections, and then you identify the pattern out of it, that out of this, what are some of the things which worked very well for myself, what are the things which has not worked at all. So once you identify those patterns, then you identify and you take those patterns and you test your theory over here. You test your theory, and once you test your theory, then it completes the loop of your learning. So this is a learning loop. Anything we experience, we think about it, we establish the patterns out of it, and we test our theory, and with that additional knowledge we go into the events, and this is a process in which it goes around. Now the interesting part for us is, that in this learning curve, any of the experience cannot be completed if we do not complete the loop. Remember that. The learning could not be completed if we do not complete the loop. This was being discovered by one of the psychologists, his name was Kolb. And in 1984, he has discovered that theory, that this learning curves goes in that way. Now, important aspect what we have to learn from today over here is, basically the problem happened, or the challenge happened for us, that because of our different type of personalities, because of our different type of preferences which we have in our life, there are some of the people in that learning curve of our daily experiences, some of the people, they are being more focused only on those events. They just would like to experiment with those events. Anything happen, they are ready to jump onto it. They don't care about what theories, what ideas, what patterns are at the back. They would like to go and they would like to just experiment with those things. There are certain individuals or some personalities, if any of the project, any of the activities, any of the event happened, they just don't want to jump themselves onto the project. They think it's not wise to start anything unless and until you don't think about it. You don't go into the theory of it. You don't go into the abstract models which are being behind that. For example, if you have to do something, even if you have, for example, if some person has to, let's take an example, has to learn swimming. So there are some of the people who don't care about what are the lessons. They said, just simply dive into the pool and we are going to learn something out of that. But there are some of the people, they say, no, we are not going to go for it. We are going to first go around, and the people who are already been swimmers, we are going to collect some of their experiences. We have to reflect back. We have to see what they have learned, what are their best practices and things like that. But there are some people who say, all right, this is good, but I would also like to go through reading some of the books and seeing some of the videos, and I would like to see what are the best pattern in which someone can learn the swimming altogether. And then there are some people, they are not been waiting for that detailed modeling. They just got some of the information which is essential for them, sufficient for them just to jumpstart their journey. They will got some of the basic fundamental and they started experimenting with that. So these are the type of patterns in which we actually operate. Now, for example, why I have chosen this subject, while we have been working as a team, for example, and we have to work on a project. Now, our challenge is that in your team, if some person has a preference for the thinking part of it, and this person has been more concerned to see the bigger picture first, before starting anything, like to go through the concept, like to collect all the experiences. And there are some person in your team, maybe your boss or someone, who is being more concerned with that whatsoever the knowledge we are having, whatsoever in our hand, they are very practical. They say, look into the things which are more practical we can do, rather than going into the most theoretical model. Let's take that, let's experiment, and we will go around. Now imagine if they are been communicating with each other, what is going to be happen? So whenever we can see that within the team we had a difference of opinion sometime, that difference of opinion emerged from that aspect. So today, that link which I have given it to you, what I have asked you, once you will go through it, what you are going to get? You are going to get about yourself. These are set of 80 questions, just true and false. Just go with your gut feeling, and once you will do that, it will identify which preferential systems you belong to. So you identify about yourself. You say, all right, I'm a thinking type of a person. And you can also identify, or maybe I'm being that type of a person. So this knowledge is very important for you. And if you also have in your team, with someone else in your team, they have been doing it, please feel free in sharing that link with them as well. Ask them to do this exercise. If you're working as a team, I would advise you, ask your team to do this smaller exercise of 4 minutes, and then discuss among yourself. Then identify, all right, what is your type of style and what is my type of style? So once you identify about your type of personality, what is going to be happen? Next time when you are being working as a team, you are having a better context and understanding about that. So what exactly the model which he has highlighted, and this what I'm going to talk about again, that once he has taken that model, he has identified that part, that the people who are being actually more onto that action type, he identified as an activist. He gave it as a title. He said these are the activist type of personalities who are being more on the experimentation. I remember when I was being managing the technical training center, and they were generally the young trainees. They have been coming into the technical training center, and there was a complaint about them that once they are being in the classroom, they are not purely being attentive, and many number of times, sometimes the students go to sleep as well while in the class. But I have observed that when they are being asked to work in a workshop, so they are so energetic, they are so excited, they have been taking a part into that. So I got a pattern over there that these are the type of personalities, majority of them, who like to learn by doing something. They are kinesthetics. So if I'm going to give them a long, lengthy lecture, there will be they will have death by boredom. So the most important part, what I have to see, I have to create more such activities for them in which they can start learning by doing, because these are the type of personalities which actually are the one who do the experimentation before going that. The second type of personality he identified, he said that the people who always go with the summation of other person's experiences or their own experiences about any project, they are the reflectors. They always have a flashback. So for example, if I have to do some of the training course, and if I say, all right, what was the previously some of the similar session I've done, what are the things what I have done in a good way, what are the things which I can learn more, what are the things some of my other trainers, they have been doing it, and before starting any new project, let get their reflection, let get their summation of experiences. So I'm a type of a person who is more on the reflector side. I cannot start anything unless and until I do not collect this type of informations together. The third thing which they have identified, that the people who go with the more abstract ideas and thoughts and concepts, these are more like a professors. So they are the one who like to read a book before starting any of the project as well, like to understand what are the theoretical fundamental concepts behind it. These are called the theorist. Theorist. So these are the theorists. the people who like to read through the book, who like to listen to the lectures. Many number of time might be you have observed that whenever the people, they are been enjoying the class session in which they are not been asked to do anything, but the moment they are being asked, all right, now this is a time to do some of the workshop or some of the activities, they feel bored about that. They said, we have to understand what we are going to do. Without understanding, without conceptual model, without seeing the bigger picture, it does not attract them. So this is called the theorist part. Now, another one which is being actually the type of personalities who are more practical, who are more fact oriented. They don't wait for the long lengthy lectures or the conceptual model. They just try to get the hands-on onto some of the minimum possible information which can give them a drive to do something, to generate a result out of it. These are called the pragmatists. So pragmatists are the one who fall pragmatist. All right, so they are the one who are more fact oriented. These are the people who like to capture the minimum possible whatsoever the information can help them, which is practically can be applied. They are very practical. They are very much oriented towards the goals. So they are the pragmatists. Now I remember when, for example, we fall, all of us who are listening to me right now, we have one dominant or couple of these factors which are more dominant in our personality. Now, if I ask you, I can see the comments column, what you can guess about yourself. Just write it down freely. What do you think? Whether you are activist, your preferential way of experiencing the world is from an activist. Activists always remember they don't care about much of the theory, ideas, thoughts. They would like to straight away jump into the action, and they started learning out of that. Or you are the reflector. You first try to capture the experiences all around, your own experiences, the other people's experiences, and then you think about it, what is the best way you can go about that. Or you are the one, you have to start something, you go into the books, you go into the lectures, you try to get the conceptual model of it. Or you are the one who are a very practical, fact-oriented person who try to get the minimum possible information and just jump onto that. Just write it down into the comments column, who you are, what do you identify about yourself. It would be very interesting to know. All right, so I got a comment that Harish said that I'm more on the reflector. All right, fantastic. Just get some of the things. Why I've been asking you, because first make your guess over here, what type of personality you are, and then once you will go through the test, it is going to surprise you or might give you something interesting over there. Just write it down, some more comments. I would love to see that, what type of personality you are been in. Either you are activist, or you are reflector, or you are theorist, or you are pragmatist. Now, why this is important question? Because while you are working in your team, there are some people who are more on the reflection style of learning. There are some people who are more on the theory style. There are some people who are more on the pragmatist, and there are some people who are being more on the activist. If you are the manager of your team, now that's a question I've been asking you. If you have to manage some of the team, or if you have to work in a team, in the team environment, if you are managing a team, this type of information is of course help you a lot. Why? Because you can see that once you are working as a team, or you are a manager of the team, you know that some of your colleagues have a preferential way of reflection. There are some of the team who are more on the theory. There are some of the people who are been there, and there are some of the people in the activists. So what you can do, once you know the formation of your team, you have a better communication, because once you are dealing with the people, or you have been aware about yourself, you will always present in your project some of the details which are related and adding on with some of the past experiences. You will also add in your presentation and the briefing session some of the theoretical models as well, and you will also give some of the fact-based, action-oriented plans over here, and you will also create an opportunity where the people can experiment onto that. Now, this is again a 360 overview of the things in which you can better communicate. Why you can better communicate? Because you had a better understanding how you can know about yourself. So once you know about yourself, you have a better way of communicating around the world. As I remember, I have highlighted it earlier, Please remember that part, write it down somewhere, that the quality of our life is directly proportional to the quality of communication we are having. And that quality of communication is one, that communication which we are having inside all the time within ourselves, and the second communication which we are having with the outside world. If you are being a good communicator, so your life is going to transform altogether.